Hi, this is Kimball Bullington, and we're looking at a Excel problem to calculate percentages, and then we want to determine whether percentages are within some expected range. So one note of clarification, just a vocabulary issue. When the term control limits is used, then typically we're talking about is the process within some expected range. It does not mean good or bad, but it just means is a process behaving like I expect it to? Is it essentially a normal distribution? If we wanted to say good or bad, we would use the term specification limits. And if it's within the specifications, we say it's good. Outside, we'd say bad. But this case, we're just saying is it within expectations of the variation of the process. So we're going to calculate the percentages, and I'm going to get Excel to do this for us. I'm not going to do this myself. It's very quick. It's very quick. Just a few seconds to do this. In fact, I'm going to do it really fast and then show you how quick it is. I'm just going to. So this is the formula. I divide that by the sum of these numbers. Have to put a parenthesis around it. I'm going to edit it slightly to lock in the rows, and then I'm done. So I didn't look at the clock, but that's just that's not very many seconds. But let's go back. Why did I lock in the rows? Because if I hadn't and I had copied them, I wouldn't get the right answer. This is obviously not right because you have 3 out of all of these represents 11%, and down here you have 3 is 100%. And the reason is because your range, as you drop down the next row, your range dropped down too. I want to keep the range, the total number of pieces for all colors, I want to keep it the same. And I do that by locking in the rows with a $sign. Then when I copy that down, it's right. And this is 3 out of all this number is 11% and 11%. I could do one more check, which is let's sum the whole thing. Let's sum all of these, and it should be 100%. It is. It's 100%. So I'm going to delete that. You don't need to see that. But sometimes I check numbers, and then I'll remove my check. I just made sure that I had a quality product there. Now, the next, so you've essentially answered number 4, activity 4. Now, activity 5, conclude whether or not the percentages of your sample are reasonably within the expectations communicated. So, is the 11% between 10.8 and 13.2? Well, it is, and in fact, it takes me only seconds to determine that that's true for all 6 of the colors. However, what if you had a huge number of colors or a huge number, data points, thousands, tens of thousands? Then you couldn't go through and in a reasonable period of time make all of those comparisons. So how could I get Excel to compare all of them for me? And one way to do it is with if statements, nested if statements. Another way is to just go straight to some conditional formatting. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I click on my first percentage there, and then I go up here to the conditional formatting tab, and I click on it. I'm just going to highlight the cells, and I want to highlight the cells between those numbers. It seems to be the easiest way. I could make up another rule, but that one seems to be the easiest way to make this decision. And so I want to format the cells between here and here, between E6 and F6. So I'm going to go here and make this E6, and then click back on my little spreadsheet tab and make this one F6, and click back, and I'm good, except I'd like to do that row by row comparison for all of them. I'd like to copy this down and make the row by row comparison, but right now these cells are locked in absolute with absolute references. So I'm going to remove the row reference. It's exactly the opposite of what I did when I was summing a while ago. I'm going to remove the row reference to both of these, and I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make this green since it's within expectations. Green is a sort of a normal color for that. I say okay, and it highlighted that row. Now let's see if I copy it down. It highlights all of the rows except for the one row that was actually outside of the limits, and it's outside on the high side. And maybe you want to, I'm not satisfied with this color because I want to emphasize this color more. And you can do that by going and changing the background formatting. So I'll go in here and then change the fill to whatever I want to change it to. Maybe I'll change it red, but I'm going to have to change my text to black to make it show up, and let's bold it. And that's good. Now what I did, I didn't go in and pick that row. I actually highlighted all of the rows, but the other one, but they all have this conditional formatting still. And the conditional says if this happens, we're going to make them green. And when it doesn't happen, then your native formatting will show up. So that's one way. And of course, you still need to tell me what's going on down here in the text. But that's one way to get Excel to do the testing for you. You had Excel do the calculations for the percentages, and then you had the Excel to compare them with those control limits. I hope you find this helpful. You have learned two tools, or at least had two tools reinforced. One is calculating percentages, and the second one is conditional formatting. Thanks.